And we're live. Good afternoon. This is Jared Forte with session 2 of Notes from the Route. This show is sort of my a public review of some of the ideas that I've been working on, been thinking about, been writing about. For one, it's a public accountability tool for me so that I can continue to hone and sharpen my ideas, and it's also I also aim for it to be one half of a conversation so that I can get your feedback on some of the things that we talk about up here, and hopefully we can both benefit from the exchange. On today's episode or today's sessions of Notes from the Route, we're going to be talking about collaboration in the creative environment. I've been in a lot of wonderful collaborations that elevated my performance, elevated the quality of my skills and my output. I've been in numerous situations like that where I know that without that collaboration, the results would not have been anywhere near as good. I've also been in collaborative situations where, it didn't quite work out, or where I felt like there wasn't real benefit for all parties concerned on either side of it. So we're going to talk about some of the dynamics of collaboration. And I want to first start with the idea of competition, because we're talking about collaboration in a competitive environment. Now, for competition implies that there's scarcity, all right? Because if there's plenty of whatever it is, the resource it is that you might be competing against someone for, if there's plenty of it, then there is really no need for competition. There's plenty to go around. So if you're competing, that implies that there is not enough of something. So in the context of this conversation, I want to talk about a couple different types of scarcity, or kind of frame scarcity in two different ways. In one case, you have real scarcity, meaning that there is actually a finite amount of some particular resource that's relevant to the situation. Now, there's some things that are universally scarce. Time is scarce. Once it's gone, it's gone. It can't be renewed. Energy is scarce. While it is renewable for the specific period of time that you're working with, it's going to expire before you have to stop. You're going to reach a point where you're going to have to stop and recharge. So energy is a scarce resource. And also attention. Attention is extremely scarce because attention is like a single point in time. Attention, even though it may seem as though it's possible for people who like multitask or seem to be paying attention to a variety of things at one time, what's actually happened is they're attending to a series of things, because attention exists as a single point, like a discrete point in time. And then once that point, or once that moment is over, then it's over, it's done. Then you have another moment of attention. So it's an extremely scarce thing, because in any given point in time, there's only one thing that's being attended to by a person. So those are all things that are scarce. They're real scarce. Now, there's also a type of scarcity which is sort of a manufactured scarcity. And really, manufactured scarcity more or less is just a sort of a tactic that someone uses to try to manipulate your emotions, or that you might use to manipulate another person's emotions. Manufactured scarcity plays on the idea of a fear of loss. If you ever seen an infomercial, or you ever seen a commercial in between shows where they're selling something and it's like for limited time only, or if you call in the next 5 minutes, you get this or that. That's creating an urgency. And urgency is a very powerful motivator. But here's the thing. If there is no relevance, then the effects of scarcity don't exist. The thing that's being in order for something, for you to perceive something as scarce and really care about it, it has to be something that's relevant to you. So for a really simple example, let's say you love chicken. I love chicken. So let's say you love chicken and we're in a restaurant, a buffet, and they're about to run out of chicken. And they're not going to make any more. So the fact that they're running out of chicken and there's a scarcity of chicken, that's a relevant factor to me. It's also a relevant factor to you because you also love chicken. So now we're going to compete for the scarce chicken. Meanwhile, there's a vegan also sitting here because they have an outstanding salad bar at this place. The fact that they're running out of chicken is irrelevant to them. So it is true. It is a fact in the world that they are running out of chicken. But the emotions that come along with scarcity, the emotions that drive urgency, don't touch this person who doesn't care about the chicken. So the real important point here is that it's important to make a distinction between real scarcity that's universally true and that always is relevant. Like the scarcity of time, attention, and energy is always relevant to everyone. It's important to make a distinction between that type of scarcity and the scarcity that's manufactured or the scarcity that is of dubious relevance to you. Now, it seems like I'm talking a lot about scarcity, and this is supposed to be a conversation about collaboration, but this is the important point that I want to make. When you want to talk about something that's real scarce and that is most relevant to every individual and to you who's watching, the single most scarce resource is you. What I mean by that is, as far as you are concerned, your supply of time, your supply of energy, and your supply of attention, you invest those resources throughout the course of your life and generate a collection of skills. You hone a set of talents, and you have a unique combination of experiences that literally make you one of one in the history of the world. There's never been, nor is there now, nor will there ever be another person that is exactly like you. So you are the most scarce resource in the world as far as you're concerned. For your own purposes, you have to consider yourself and those collections of skills, experiences, and talents, and your store of time, energy, and attention. You are the most scarce resource in your world. And that scarce resource is what you're going to be bringing into a collaboration. So you have to think about it. Okay, you have a monopoly on you. You have a monopoly on being you. There isn't anyone else. And you're going to take that and you're going to bring it into a relationship, into an exchange with another person. So you have to be really cognizant and really careful because and really aware of the situations that you're bringing yourself into because you are so scarce. You are only you, and that's it. So let's go to the next notes here. So let's talk about you for a second, and also let's talk about something that's sort of the opposite, not an exact opposite, but sort of a competing concept with scarcity, and that's the idea of commodity. A commodity is not as scarce. So when you think about the more that you conform, the more that you blindly copy, the more that you just kind of just go along with the crowd, then the more you become a commodity. And there's nothing good or bad about that. There's no judgment in the idea of making yourself a commodity. It's just you need to be aware that that's what's happening and that you might be compromising the advantages that your scarcity can bring to you, because when something is really scarce, it creates a demand for it. So while you might be thinking that, okay, if I do this, like like everybody else does, and I follow all the rules, and I copy this person and follow this system, then I'm increasing my, increasing my value. But in reality, the biggest value that you have, and you have the exclusive on this bit of value, and that is in being yourself and honing and nurturing your own unique skills, talents, and abilities. Okay. So now that we have sort of defined and talked about scarcity, and we've placed you in the context of being a scarce resource. Give me a second here. Okay. We've talked about scarcity, and we've placed you into the context of being the most scarce resource. Now we're going to talk about what collaboration, or basically the way that you bring yourself into relationship with other people in order to create a mutually beneficial outcome. Okay, now collaboration, and the way that I see it, and it's been my experience in all the collaborations that I've been in that have worked extremely well. Collaboration requires parity. Collaboration is a give situation. There's no takers in a true collaboration. So if you are in a situation where you're not on equal footing with people that you're collaborating with, now there might not be a parity in skill, there might not be a parity in talent. There should be a parity in passion and desire and commitment. Okay, everybody is, no two people are going to be on the same level skill-wise necessarily, but there has to be a parity in commitment and a parity in passion and a parity in care about the outcome in order for it to work. Now, if you are in a situation where it's give and take, then that's not a collaboration, that's an exploitation. And I know exploit is a provocative word, but I think it's the right word in this case. If you're not providing that equal value, or you're not providing that equal effort, then you are exploiting a situation, or you are being exploited in a situation. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I know it sounds bad, but just be conscious of it. If that's what you're doing, or if that's the situation you're in, then just be aware of it. I'm being exploited, or I'm exploiting this situation or this opportunity. Just keep it real with yourself. Now, there are situations where there's a coach relationship, or mentor-mentee type relationship, or a teacher. That's a different type of situation. I don't consider it a collaboration because the outcomes aren't tied together. Yes, a coach does care about the performance. The teacher has an investment in an emotional investment in the outcome that a student has, but the outcomes aren't the same. And what a teacher does, and what a good coach or mentor does, is they help you get better. They help you discover yourself and your skills and your talents, and they do that. It's independent of the project that you're in. So it's very important to have these types of people in your life and your experience, but those aren't collaborations in the sense that we're talking about here. But I feel like I needed to address that because we were talking about parity, and masters and teachers and mentors are always, just by definition, are going to be on a different level than the person that they are interacting with in that type of relationship. Okay, so let's talk about some of the characteristics or traits of a good collaboration. One trait of a good collaboration is that it complements, it creates a complementary set of skills, or a complementary set of benefits or outcomes, instead of a conflicting set of skills. In a good collaboration, there's no headbutting. It's like you don't need two people with the exact same skill set operating in the exact same way in the same market it's redundant, and that doesn't make for a good collaboration. Also, a good collaboration enhances the talents, the experience, and the skills of each person that's taking part in it. So you get better as a result in participating in a good collaboration. Also, and perhaps most importantly, when you have a good collaboration, then the outcome or the output, the project that emerges from that collaboration is greater than, sometimes many times greater than, the outcome that you could have achieved on your own. A great collaboration is a multiplier of skill. It's a multiplier of output. So when you collaborate, you create something new that is more than what you could have done on your own, and more than the combination of either of you could have done on your own. It creates a higher level output. And that's the only reason, or that's the main reason why people seek situations to collaborate. So that's the good. Let's talk about the bad. Just got 2 more notes here. Bad collaborations. What bad collaborations produce is, on one hand, they produce resentment. Resentment for the people within the collaboration. Whenever you are under the impression that others aren't making an equitable contribution, if other people aren't putting in the same effort and passion and intensity, if other people don't care the way that you care about the situation, then it's natural that some feelings of resentment will arise in there and bitterness about it. On the other side, for the person who is not pulling their weight or is perceived to not be an equal party in the collaboration, they might harbor some jealousy or have some envy towards the people who are able to perform at this higher level. It doesn't feel good to be outclassed. It doesn't feel good to be out of your league in a situation and be exposed in that way. So there might be jealousy in that case. And related to that jealousy is also some insecurity, because you may have been exposed and you may come to a realization that, hey, I'm not where I thought I was, and it may cause you to doubt yourself. It may, it just doesn't feel good when you get into deep water and you're not equipped to swim or to stay afloat. And last, and probably most important, is it wastes time, it wastes energy, it wastes attention. These scarce things that we have a limited store of. When you're in a relationship or you're working on a project and a collaboration that isn't working, then you can't get that time back. That's spent. So those are the characteristics or the outcomes that occur in a bad collaboration. So how do you have a good collaboration? What creates a situation wherein you can have a good collaboration? Well, the better you are, then the better your collaborations are going to be. Okay? The better you are, then the better the collaborations you can have with other people. So there's a concept that Dr. Stephen Covey covered in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's a self-improvement classic. And he talked about the concept of the private victory versus the public victory. And this book was written prior to the age of social media, when everybody was in public all the time. But the lessons are still very relevant to this discussion. So the private victory is the work that you are putting in developing your skills, the time, attention, and energy that you are investing in yourself to develop your skills, to create new experiences, and to enhance your talent. That investment that you're making in yourself, you do that out of the gaze of other people. Other people can't see this happening. Even if you're doing it in public, even if you are doing it online and you have a blog or you have a video channel, in the beginning, even though it's in public, nobody sees it. But what you have to do is keep working. And as you build those skills and as you get better, those victories are private, but they accumulate over time. And as you get better, then you emerge into the public. You leave a body of work in your wake that attracts people that you can collaborate with to create a result that you can be proud of. So that's the discussion on collaboration. You are the scarce resource, the most scarce resource in your world. You're bringing that into a relationship with another person to create a result beyond what either of you could have done on your own. So in order to make the most of that, you have to make the most of yourself. So this has been Notes from the Route. Thanks for checking it out. You can learn more at jaredforte.com to follow the blog. Also, you can check out the videos there on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at this Jared, like this Jared, THIS Jared. And I really look forward to your comments and your input and to continue this conversation about collaboration. What's the best collaboration that you've ever experienced? All right, that's it.